Thank you everybody for coming to the Express Training Bites here at Promo Show, sponsored by Promo Corner. I am Brandon Petrich. I'm the digital media director for Promo Corner, and our guest today is a rock star in the industry. Him and I actually met in California at a power meeting, I think it was, and we hit it off right away. He is a fantastic distributor friend of mine. Everybody say hey to Nadav Raviv, and he is going to talk to us today about using spec samples versus virtual samples. So take it away, Nadav.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. Brandon, thanks for having me. Promo Corner. Brandon is correct. I've been in the industry for about 7 years. He and I met, I think, 2 years in out in California at one of the power meetings, which if you get an opportunity to go to, I highly suggest either one of those EMEs or one of the summit meetings. It's basically like a speed dating with your vendors, and it's phenomenal. They put you up in a really nice place, and you get to go and just learn about your different vendors. And if you know them, you can go in and just start popping in and really get into the core of what you're doing. Like, this is my client list, and this is what I'm thinking. What do you have? What's new? What's hot? What's cool? If you don't know them, obviously you learn their spiel, and then you got like 5 minutes to do that because you've been warming up to them and talking about long walks on the beach. But that's not here or there for this one, but it does lend to, some of the conversation that I'm going to have today. So the importance of spec samples versus virtuals. It's really, tangible versus an intangible, if you will. For me, when I go into a client, I'm more of a consultative, solution-based sales rep. I like to talk to them about their marketing campaigns, their goals. What are they trying to achieve? You're buying a pen, but why are you buying a pen? What pen are you trying to get? What color ink do you want to get? What color pen do you want to get? Who's the target demographic? And what are you trying to say to that target demographic? What ROI are you trying to capture? So when you're doing things like that, it's easy to show them a virtual. And of course, you always want to show a virtual to get the conversation started. But as you start peeling back the layers and the onions, and you really start understanding exactly what their target demographic is and what they're trying to accomplish with whatever campaign or just giveaway, there's always a reason. So kind of seeing is believing. So if you can put something in their hand that's tangible, it really just helps them perceive the product and really, might even give them an idea of what they're doing. So one of the ways that, first going back to the power meetings, when you go to something like that, when you go to any of these local shows, like SPPA here locally in Birmingham, or PAMS or whatever, you really need to talk to your vendors. You really need to get to know them on a granular level. The reason I say that is because not only are they interesting, but they know so much about what you're trying to do and what the vertical market that you're working in. They know better than you do because they get hundreds and hundreds of orders a day. You don't get that, right? So you don't know what financial's doing. You don't know what healthcare is doing. But like say right when the pandemic hit, I was talking to some of my vendors and I'm like, well, what are the people buying? They said chairs. People are buying chairs because the hospitals are running out of room in the waiting rooms. I would have never known that. So by forging these relationships with the vendors, I started doing lunch and learns. I felt that was just gangbuster. Two of my biggest clients, one was financial, one was healthcare. I would bring in my vendor on a monthly basis. I think it was monthly. Yeah, monthly basis. And I would do a little lunch and learn. Every lunch and learn, they would do a free spec sample for me. The accounts were big enough to garner the relationship. Obviously, they can't do it all the time. And you do have to pick and choose who you're going to do that for. But because they did that, here's a free gift. It incentivized them to come into the meeting. And it also showed them something that was tangible and a great product to have. One of these meetings, the young lady, it was Imagine Brands, brought in a little wallet, RFID wallet, and it was gangbuster. They ordered like 80,000 of them. It was ridiculous. I would have never even thought. They're like, this is perfect for this project. I didn't think about that. I didn't know that, but because they had the product in their hand and it was tangible and they could touch it and they could see it and they could feel it, they said, oh, well, this is perfect for this campaign. So I think that's really important to utilize and lean on your vendors. Um, it's also important to, you know, utilize what you like. So whether it's has, their logo on it or your logo on it, it's always important to have something. So I work for a race team, a NASCAR team. I love Under Armour shirts. I'm going to wear this. The day I went to the racetrack, the guy comes over to me and the owner, and he's doing this. He's looking at the shirts like, man, I want one of those. One of my best friends does the same thing. Shout out to Ronnie Rice. He'll feel in touch, and I know exactly what he wants. He wants me to order him one of these shirts, one of these polos. But that's kind of the game. I mean, you kind of just have to, know your clients and know how to sell to them and strategize accordingly. One of my favorite products is the absorbing car coaster from a web company. Shout out to Dan and Eric up there. I'll actually take the car coaster with their logo, the client's logo, and making sure it's not a very nice wood table. I'll spill a little bit of water and I'll put the car coaster on there, and they're like, "What the heck are you doing, Nadav?" And I'm like, "Just watch." So after a few seconds, the water is absorbed, and they're like, "Man, that is cool." So, some of my clients, I've come to realize if you slap their logo on something, they're like 90% more apt to buy it than if you had a random sample or a sample with no logo at all. You just have to, again, you have to know your client. But if you do that, they're more apt to buy what you're doing. Another thing about having a spec sample done is it really shows how much you care about that client. You're taking it to the next level. You're putting their brand on something because you say, "Hey, this is something cool." And if even more so, it may give them a reason to see you. So if you can open up your, if you need a reason just to drop by or to get the conversation started, maybe it's a soft introduction. Hey, I had this printed because I saw it was, something great for your company, and I just wanted to stop by, just 5 minutes of your time. In fact, that's how I started my biggest relationship. The lady came down and we met for 15 minutes in the lobby. And, before too long, I was doing, over $1 million in business with this one client, which, turned into a monster. But it was, it's great. They were a wonderful client. Unfortunately, I had to leave them with my last company, but that's neither here nor there. But, I think that, if you need kind of a reason to stop by, doing a spec sample is always a very good way of doing it. And then, when you put their logo on it, you can kind of make it seem like, this is kind of one of my secrets, make it seem like it's their idea. So you say something like, "Here, I did this car coaster. It's got your logo on it. This is a great campaign for, blah, blah, blah." And then they say something like, "Oh, it could be utilized for this." And then you say, "Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking." You kind of start the conversation geared towards them and exactly how they're going to utilize it. And, that's just kind of my little trick of selling. Some of the companies that have really helped me out, Bori with handstands and Org Audio, Mike and Jason, shout out to them. They've been really good partners. I mentioned, web company has always really been helpful with those spec samples. Got some really good deals, especially on those car coasters. Also my buddy Gabe with Imagine Brands is always willing to help. In fact, some of my clients like him more than they like me. So, it's really cool to have those vendors come in and to do those lunch and learns and to run those spec samples, always with the virtuals. It's great. It's a good start, but when you can really put that tangible product in their hand, I feel like it's more of a home run. I mean, it really is on all sorts of fronts. It's saying, "Hey, I love you. Hey, I care. Hey, this is your logo. Hey, I understand your brand. Hey, these are your PMS colors. And this is how close I can get to them." Because I am your brand police. I am your brand guidelines. I help speak for you. I am an extension of your marketing arm. So that's pretty much about it. I mean, that's how I utilize my spec samples. And really just lean on your vendors, ask them questions, ask your client questions, get to know their marketing campaigns, get to know their projects, and then show them what they're going to be utilizing.